Kind of sounds a little bit like the caveman dancing music from the second Matrix movie. Well, I don't know. Up at the top of the map, we have our Red Zerg player. No wins today so far in the up and down matches. He is...
Byun.
He needs this. He needs it bad, Wolf.
He really does.
He needs it like the air he's breathing. There he is again. In case you forgot, but his opponent is down at the bottom of the map. Here he is, our blue Terran player from the team OGS. He is...
August SuperNova.
SuperNova.
There's a lot of energy in a SuperNova.
Yep, certainly is. Is he going to explosively expand outward towards the base of Byun?
Or will he kind of sit back and contract into his own little white dwarf base and do an all-in?
That's right.
Well, Byun is actually going to be doing something that I don't think anyone would have ever expected. He's going to be going Command Center first in TBT.
Yeah, well, it's a big map. He could theoretically get away with it. It's definitely risky. I think at this point he's like, I'm just going to do something crazy. I'm going to try to get into my opponent's head a little bit. They probably... I would have to say that SuperNova is probably expecting something a little bit more aggressive, you know?
Yeah.
Normally players in this situation tend to be more aggressive.
Well, if SuperNova... I mean, if Byun had watched SuperNova against Yoda, you know, I would have thought he would have not done something like this. And this is the funniest thing ever. Is like he's gonna actually maybe have to pull his SUV building the command center first off of the command center.
Like, does this bug you? Mortal Kombat! Oh, now it's like Marvel vs. Capcom tag team.
Yeah, and this command center is not being built right now.
Yep.
Very important for him to build that immediately. It's part of doing this build is having that command center up way early.
Yeah.
Losing some of that advantage, having to pull the SCV away.
Well, it did slow him down a little bit.
Very difficult to pull this off on a two-player map.
Yeah, despite the size of Daybreak, it is still, like you said, a two-player map. Your opponent knows exactly where you are. There's no hope of really hiding what you're doing if you're doing something like that against someone on this map.
Part of the strength of this build is that it's very difficult for someone like SuperNova to react and
look at that.
Deal with this. Yeah, this is going to be very annoying for Byun, but unfortunately for SuperNova, he's not going to be able to do too much damage.
Yeah.
If the bunker somehow finishes, which it shouldn't.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's like, give me your wallet, Marine.
Oh, wow. That Marine almost got out of there despite the fact that SCVs have a longer movement range, or movement speed. It's like a longer movement speed. Doesn't make any sense.
They could go forever. Well, until they run out of gas or whatever SCVs are powered on, I guess. But the Marine suits has to have some sort of power supply too, right? I mean, you can't be moving all that manually. That's a lot of weight.
This is a fantasy world, Doa. Stop being so literal.
Science fiction, man. You have to be able to explain it. We've made valid scientific explanations for everything we talk about.
All right, well, what's your scientific explanation for the destructible debris in the middle of the map that's nicely organized and has 2,000 hit points and 3 armor?
Well, I'll tell you, Wolf. Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, some developers thought that they would make the game more interesting by putting destructible debris in the game, and then that's what happened.
Yeah, and then so they Wind Park Prime decided to put it in the middle of this map.
Yep. They put it in the map. They put it in a place where nobody really cares about. They're like, maybe we'll break it down. Oh well. Hellions.
They listen to Break It Down Again by Tears for Fears. It's a good song. No more sleepy dreaming, man. Command Center finishes for SuperNova at the natural.
Maybe some break dancing later. They'll like put down they'll like unfold a giant cardboard refrigerator box and SCVs will start spinning on their heads or something.
That would be interesting to watch SCVs breakdance.
The like shoulder of a Marine opens and there's a boombox inside it.
So this is just, I mean, we haven't really talked a lot about this, but SuperNova, because he didn't go for Command Center first, he's just been controlling this game. He just pokes, kills the SCV building the depot. He can do whatever he wants. He could try to force his way through into the natural and attack the SCVs when his blue flame finishes, which we'll probably see. And there's just not a lot of answer for Byun. Byun took an extreme risk.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, he's on the verge of holding it right now. He's got some Marauders on the way. He started Stim, but he's going to need something to answer for these Blue Flame Hellions. I mean, right now he's only got one bunker. I feel like if SuperNova was ambitious enough, he could just run right past.
Yeah, well, with that engineering bay going up, it's going to be a lot harder to run through. I like that choice by Byun. He's going to start getting those upgrades as well for his bio that's really necessary. Even leaving a lot of his units in his main in case of a Blue Flame Hellion drop.
Yep.
So he's definitely practiced this build. It's not something he just decided to do randomly because he was losing or something like that. He's like, well, I'm just going to take a risk. No, he's practiced this. I think he expected to use this build on this particular map.
Yeah. Well, Byun is a really good TV tier, too. I mean, he knows his stuff. He played against OGS Top, a teammate of SuperNova's, in the Code A Finals, the very first Code A Finals ever. And I believe it went to game 6 or 7. It was pretty close, so definitely is always a good TV tier.
He's going to lift up here, and he's going to go to the one place where there was a weak spot 20 seconds ago, but Byun fixed that. He's going to turret here, and the Marines are already moving into position to defend this.
Now, Byun's playing really safe, but
Byun is playing so safe, man.
What is he going to do when he needs to take a third, though? That's the question. Is he going to be able to continue playing so safe? SuperNova could take his own third and, you know, just get ahead economically as well.
SuperNova just has so much tech. He's got 2 factories up. He started siege tank production. He's going to start siege mode. He's got Cloak. He's got a Banshee floating around the map.
Well,
and look at this, sneaking into the main.
This could kill a couple SCVs.
SCV's bunching up quite a bit over here on the left side of the command center.
Oh, not killing too many of them. Oh, he loses the medevac, though. And he's going to eventually lose all these Hellions. Might kill a few more units, kill some stuff, building some other buildings.
Killing some Marines as well.
Yep.
Pretty good trade. Right now he's up 11 supply.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
Right now worker count is 43 SCVs for SuperNova to 38 for Byun.
You know, one thing you really, you said earlier really kind of says it all. I mean, look at this Banshee coming in here. SuperNova is just able to dictate this game exactly how he wants, you know?
Yeah.
He decides what happens in this game right now.
Exactly, and when you go bio against mech, that's kind of how the whole game goes.
Yeah.
And look at this, just without combat shields, 2 shots for a Marine.
Now, Byun did intentionally give up that advantage, you know? He said, I just want to get this economic advantage and play safer. I don't mind giving you the ability to kind of dictate the game. But as the game goes on, I feel like it's going to be less and less of a good decision because SuperNova's macro is so good that he's been able to keep up just as easily.
Yeah, only Bolt can make bio work, man.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, it's iffy. You kind of have to get a little bit lucky to make bio work in TVT these days, I feel.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. I mean, you basically just hope that your opponent makes a mistake. That's what you're hoping for when you go bio. I mean, you hope that you can out multitask them, be really mobile, but if your opponent is safe and patient, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen, we really haven't seen a TVT anytime lately where a bio playing Terran player has beaten a mech playing Terran player when the mech player played perfectly, you know?
Right. Now, with all of these Hellions out here, these Marines are not going to be very effective when he engages, so he's got to be very careful about engaging the Hellions. Sure, he'll win the fight eventually with his Marauders. The Marines do a decent amount of DPS, but Byun's army is tiny. Look at that. You'll look at it in a second.
Well, I'm looking at it.
It's tiny, man.
It is tiny. It's not a very scary army. It'd be scary to, like, a one-basing Protoss, but not OGS SuperNova.
There
right
it is,
now.
man. That's his whole army.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 Marauders at home. That's it.
And look at this. Hellion sneaking around the back. Is Byun going to turn around, or is he going to go for it? Yeah, he's actually just going to go for it. All right, well.
There is a pretty good defense back at home for these Hellions. There's a bunker. There's a few Marauders.
Yep.
He's rallied the rest of his barracks back into his naturals, so he's going to have units at home. Byun just wanted to check, do you have a third base? No, you don't. Okay, I'll go home.
That's a little bit surprising that SuperNova hasn't tried to take a third quite yet.
I like that SuperNova has gotten a Raven. He's going to be able to use that point defense drone against the Marauder-heavy force of his opponent.
Yeah. Well, you kill all the Marines.
Oh, is he going to try to sneak by here?
I think he will. Getting a decent amount of SCVs. Oh, they're lining up so much.
And actually not getting as many as he could have.
Wow. Luckiest SCVs ever,
Yeah, he could have gotten way more SCVs with that. In total, though, does have 22 workers killed. Ghost Academy going up for Byun.
Man, he lucked out. So big. So big.
I'm kind of curious to see what Byun's idea here is with the Ghost Academy. Now, obviously, you know, this is StarCraft 2. There's no lockdown capability. How many Marines are there out on the field for SuperNova? There's 3. So I'm guessing he's going to be trying to use some sort of nuke play.
I don't miss lockdown one bit, man. I called that the no fun spell. It's like, look, now you're not going to have any fun. I'm like, oh.
Banshee did a little bit of harass at the third base of Byun, getting 7 kills and escaping.
So, SuperNova right now, I mean, he's got a decent supply lead. Not huge, but again, you know, look at that army. It's just so small. It'd be so easy for SuperNova to handle that.
Yeah, I mean, that's right now. That's no longer his entire army, but it's the only army he's got out on the map. So if he gets caught in a weird spot, he can lose a lot. So
I think he needs the rest of it.
Oh no, he's gonna walk into siege tank fire.
Man, that was ugly.
It's just so difficult to outplay a meching player who plays safely with this style.
Well, this is what's going to happen to the Terrans that continue to play Bio. You know, unless somebody thinks of some new, you know, amazing way to play Bio, it's going to be one of those inferior strategies. We're seeing all the Terrans that favor Bio play starting to fall behind in the GSL, just how it is right now.
I want to point something out. SuperNova, when he moved the majority of his tanks over there, actually left a point defense run and 2 tanks back home just in case. He didn't even have any reason to drop that point defense run, but his Raven was just sitting there, so he just made it.
Why not?
I really like that.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out. I like that.
I like it too.
Well, Byun is moving around the map. He's hoping that he can catch SuperNova on siege because that's the one way he's going to win the engagement.
Yeah, he's coming through the rocks in the middle.
Is he? I mean, he's maybe using these ghosts to try to EMP the Raven. That's all I can expect. He doesn't have a nuke. He does have 2 ghosts. Does try to EMP the Raven, but misses.
Did he get it actually? He might have gotten it.
No, he missed.
Okay.
He missed the Banshee as well.
Oh,
he hit
okay.
the Banshee, but the Banshee still has enough energy to cloak.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Almost taking some damage from the siege tanks. Yeah, and I mean, okay. Well, let's put it this way. Byun has a chance to come back. He has a chance to win this game, but it's going to take SuperNova making a mistake for that to happen.
Yeah.
It's sad, but true.
I mean, look at how many Vikings SuperNova has. He can really dictate this battle.
Yeah. Oh, he's been dictating the whole game right now.
He really has been. And look at that. Picks off the medevac. Even the Hellions going to try to kill some Marines. Draws the Marines forward.
Yep.
This is just so difficult right now for Byun. Byun does have 2-1 upgrades, whereas SuperNova only has +1 for his vehicles, so he's going to have +2 pretty soon.
Now, to a certain extent, Bio-Terrans need to play this kind of like a Zerg would. You know, you need to be active, moving around the map, finding little bits and pieces of the army to pick off. You have to play very differently.
This is very true.
We see Byun trying to do that too. I mean, he knows how to play this style.
Yeah, Byun he's always got his forces in 2 groups so he can flank, so he can try to catch small groups of units and crush them, but SuperNova's playing exactly right. He's playing safe, he's being patient. His command center is landing over here, but he already brought his units to defend against a possible attack. He's going to be able to lift up, get out of there.
He's going to lose 1 Hellion, but that's about it. Command center should get away. Oh, look at this though. The
mega drop, but SuperNova has so many turrets. This is something that Marine King would do when he used to play this style when he was behind like this.
Beautiful.
But SuperNova spots it with not only those turrets, but also the sensor tower.
Well, that's something that we see the European player Goody do a lot in his mech TVTs, is just make tons and tons of missile turrets.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially once you're maxed out. A nuke is in production, as well as a fusion core for Byun.
Oh, okay.
Now, Byun may be trying, obviously he started more starports, he's trying to sneakily get air advantage and then use those battle cruisers, but it's going to be so difficult to pull that off. And in fact, he still has those very same ghosts out. He didn't lose them. They've been sticking with his army through and through. They didn't abandon Byun.
They're nice guys.
This army is going to get crushed. It's completely trapped. There's nowhere for it to run.
Yep. And as soon as all the Marines are dead, the Banshee is going to be able to kill all the Marauders. Doesn't even matter.
Now, Byun's going to try to use this to attack in a different location where there isn't any of SuperNova's army. And in fact, the main is very exposed right now, but Byun does turn around.
Turns around, he just feels very unsafe. He feels very hesitant. He's kind of trying to fit a square block in a round hole here, I mean, as far as trying to make this work. Especially on this map. There's not a lot of room for Bio to maneuver around, you know?
We may see a nuke here.
Oh.
What? There it is. He's going to try to stay alive here, but the Ghost gets taken out by siege tank fire.
Yep.
There was a missile turret there as well, anyways. In fact, I didn't see, the Ghost doesn't even have cloak, so he couldn't have made use of that.
So
weapon refit being researched right now. 2 battle cruisers on the way, while SuperNova starts his Corvid reactor.
Now, here's the thing. your opponent won't get a whole lot of air if they're going mech and they see you going bio. They don't really need the Vikings for that air control quite as much. I casted a series that Kawhi Rice actually won. It was a different tournament. It was a Last Player Standing Open number 2, where Kawhi Rice went bio into battle cruisers, just like this. And it actually ended up working. So you can take advantage of your meching opponent not having a lot of
information. Yeah, he doesn't have information that you're just trying to sneak that air control out there.
Exactly, that too.
SuperNova is adding a ton of Ravens, though. 3 Ravens in production right now. And right now he's already got 4 out, so he's about to have 7 Ravens. He's getting the Corvid Reactor. He's going to have a ton of point defense drone energy, so he can help deal with the possibility of this. It's like SuperNova is so far thinking ahead. He's like already realized what is the potential for it to be going on right now. He's like getting the Ravens out to deal with that. SuperNova is playing such a safe and smart game right now, and Byun is doing the one thing that he can do to try to win this, but I feel like SuperNova's already one step ahead.
Right, I mean, Byun is playing this about as well as you could, really, but
I mean, look at all those turrets. Look at those turrets right there, man. That's like 6 turrets.
Yeah, we've got like the Olympic rings on the map with sensor towers too. I mean,
it's just going to be so difficult.
I'm clapping my hands because Seeker missiles being researched, Wolf. I get so happy when I see Seeker missiles. I think durable materials is being researched as well, if I recognize that icon. Yep. That makes auto turrets last longer, things like that. Makes the Seeker missile fly longer before it falls out of the air.
Well, right now Byun has hit 2 battle cruisers. He's got 2 more on the way.
Did he actually just stim both of those Marauders to take out?
Byun is killing his own units so that he can produce more units from his starports.
Yep.
He's starting to target down Marauders.
A lot of Ravens on the way. You know, the other thing is that Seeker missile can be pretty good against mass bio too. I mean, if you can get close enough and hit him with it, you can do some decent damage.
Very true. Targeting down more of his own Marauders off camera. He just wants to get as many of those Ravens out as he can, making 3 more ghosts. In fact, he has a nuke.
Corvid Reactor and Seeker missile for both players.
Durable materials for both as well. We are going to see one of those games, guys, where you see so many projectiles flying and being absorbed by point defense drones that nobody knows what's happening. Look at that production reactor. Behemoth Reactor.
Oh, I love late game
Reactor.
TVT right now. I absolutely love TVTs that end up like this. They get so crazy and fun to watch. I'm so excited.
Well, SuperNova, I still feel like has a very solid grasp on this game.
Yeah.
He's got a really good composition. Byun is just hoping to catch him off guard with this.
Yeah, if Byun wins, it'll be a gigantic comeback, but he's really trying everything he can. He's not playing bad. I want to stress that. He's playing this as well as anyone really could, I think. Maybe walking bio units into siege tanks isn't the best, but...
Well, you know, he doesn't really care because now he can make more units out of the starports.
Very true.
And bio is becoming obsolete here.
4 Ravens on the way right now for Byun.
And 11 missile turrets. Awesome. Both of these guys, this game could go a while.
It certainly could.
Don't expect any major engagements anytime soon.
Well, Wolf, we've already casted the longest game in GSL history, and it was on this map. Why not do it again?
And it was in very similar fashion.
We're about halfway there right now.
Get on Twitter, tell your friends to tune into an awesome TVT at the GSL.
Yeah.
Get everyone watching this game.
That's right.
I'll give you guys some unit numbers right now as all these scans go off. People reposition. 4 battle cruisers out for Byun and 10 Vikings. 9 Vikings for SuperNova. He has 26 siege tanks. Raven counts 10 Ravens for SuperNova, 13 Ravens for Byun. Worker count dead even at 64.
Wow.
Also, 1 nuke is out for Byun as well. Sensor towers are all over the map. There's so many missile turrets, I couldn't even count them. There's like more missile turrets on this map than there are stars in the sky.
Wow, that's a lot, man.
There is.
More missile turrets. Oh,
SCVs battling each other.
We want to die. Thank you.
He's actually using these SCVs to attack missile turrets because he doesn't want to sacrifice any of his regular units, but if he loses these SCVs, all that means is that he can make more battle cruisers.
Exactly. Wow, it's not a good day for SCVs. Send the SCVs.
And Byun still has this strong bio force. He's going to try to use to clean up turrets.
Taking some damage though, but you're right. I mean, every bio unit you lose, you can replace with a more expensive later tier unit.
With all these sensor towers, neither player can do anything that their opponent isn't aware of.
Well,
so that's why we have this split map situation. Neither player can really move forward or do anything without the other one knowing it, and whoever is defending is always going to have an advantage.
Well, here's the big thing, though, too, is that right now, Byun can't really take his last base. He can't take it.
That's really the main difference. That's the critical thing here, and that's why it's such a contested area right now on the map.
Could be huge.
And in fact, SuperNova says he's going to take it. He says, it's mine. I've made a command center here. He's starting to mark his territory.
Well, he actually put a planetary there, so he might even build a second command center in another planetary. Or he's just going to mine off of those mineral patches. Keep safe there.
Yeah. He knows he can't take it. Nuke goes off. So those SCVs probably don't want to mine there much longer.
Not really. And I've got to imagine that's... Oh, he does see it. SCVs versus Ghost. Who will win? Is the nuke going to land?
It's going to land.
It is.
Kills a ton of mules. Gets a missile turret and a half.
Yep.
Not too important. The nuke has already been remade.
Was it
more
worth
Vikings coming out for Byun. And right now, that's going to put Byun at 20 Vikings to 15.
Yeah. Both the guys basically maxed out right now.
4 battle cruisers out for Byun, and with having more Vikings plus the battle cruisers, I think he's going to win out in the long run. There are more Ravens out for SuperNova, but can he really micromanage that many Ravens to do good point defense drones and missile turrets in the heat of battle? That's what it's going to come down to.
We're about to find out pretty soon here. Another nuke going down. That planetary can't move. Is he going to move his tanks? Oh, he better not get those Vikings trapped there.
Those tanks just barely getting out of there. All these turrets will go down, at least the majority of them.
Yeah, a good amount of them. Takes out 4 of those. And Byun starting to use those nukes in a way that could definitely get him back into the game. He's only making 1 at once, though.
Well, TVT can go this way sometimes, where one player is ahead, but then, just doesn't take his advantage, and then he gives his opponent enough time on a large map like this to just do something. And now, we've got this point where this is the highly contested point. This one base is the only base on the entire map that's left that isn't being used, and Byun is trying to claim it.
Yamato on the tanks there.
We may have our battle here. Point defense go down. Battle cruisers flying EMPs, secret missiles on all of the battle cruisers, but doesn't hit any of the Vikings.
That's a lot of damage to those battle cruisers. So here he comes. It's going to be more secret missiles. Battle cruiser getting taken down. Mule repairing the planetary.
Mule's dropping down to repair these units. Point defense zone still remains here. There aren't very many actual attacking units for Byun. Is he going to drop some more point defense drones?
He wants to use Hunter Seeker missile.
He actually doesn't have enough energy for any more missiles, whereas Byun has so much energy. Byun looks like he's going to win this battle very easily.
I think so.
He's going to be able to Seeker missile all of those Ravens if he chooses to, but the Vikings are doing the real damage. No more energy left for SuperNova. Is Byun going to come back and win this crazy game?
I don't know, man. I mean, he's doing a lot of damage right now. Almost taking down that planetary. Still needs to play so carefully. The planetary goes down.
And these tanks are not going to be around much longer, man. In fact, he needs to go ahead and unsiege and relinquish this position, or he's going to lose all of them.
Yep.
SuperNova just having not enough Vikings. He made too many Ravens.
Yamato on those Vikings. Here come the Ravens. Oh, barely not close enough to use Seeker Missile. Seeker Missile only has 3 range. It's so difficult to use. I hope they change that someday. But
point defense drones being taken out here slowly and patiently by SuperNova.
Yeah.
He may want to actually sacrifice some of these Ravens to get some more Vikings out, because Byun just has total control right now. He's the one who's got the same number of Ravens. He's got energy.
Oh, here we go. And Viking versus Viking point defense drone absorbing a lot. Byun still coming out on top.
Yeah, these turrets not doing anything because of the massive amount of point defense drones, and Byun has retaken this position.
It's just like I had mentioned earlier, Byun was able to get that air advantage.
Secret missiles going off. Will they chase their targets?
They're going to get there.
Almost reaching their target.
Close.
And it may blow up and hit these Ravens.
Oh
my God!
It hits the Vikings.
And now Byun is going to be able to crush the entire army of SuperNova.
More Seeker missiles.
Seeker missiles, you're right. Too much going on. The battle cruisers of Byun are catching up here.
So
SuperNova.
And it's like a wayward puppy of death. It lands, doesn't do any damage that time. But look at this. It was like I mentioned earlier. If you do that switch when you go bio, a lot of times your opponent doesn't expect it. You can get that surprise air advantage. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Byun has such a good chance of winning this game.
It's looking like he has won it already, man, but he's got to be careful with these battle cruisers. He needs to assert that Viking count, but he has to be very careful of the Thor.
Yeah.
Yamato hits that Thor. Turrets trying to go to work here. There's just way too many Vikings for Byun.
Oh, more Seeker missile. Point defense drone absorbing the Thor shots, keeping the Vikings safe right now.
And I think this is going to be it.
I don't know.
SuperNova. Although, look at
A lot
this.
of Vikings being lost. Byun down to less Vikings now.
Yeah, man, he actually didn't control those Vikings as well as I thought against the Thors.
It's so back and forth, but it looks like suddenly SuperNova has a little bit of an advantage, a slight slim advantage.
Both of these guys have 2-2 upgrades on these units. Byun has more minerals right now. SuperNova has a ridiculous amount of gas.
Yeah.
And look at this control by Byun. Really, really good, but there may be too many Vikings.
Yeah.
Those point defense drones won't last forever.
No, they will not, Wolf. Remember, Byun does still have a nuke as well. He's still got that card to play if he's got a ghost anywhere on the field.
You know, I'd like to see him nuke from his main base to the top right base. It's actually reachable by nuke range. If he actually nuked that area, that's the main mining base right now for SuperNova.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Quick, go into the booth and tell him.
Well, it's very difficult to think of these types of things in this situation. These point defense drones will finally be cleaned up by SuperNova. Yeah. He's actually taken a supply lead again here, and it all comes down to him using those Thors and Byun just not reacting properly.
3-3 weapons, ship-wise, going up for both players right now. Finished already for Byun. SuperNova is going to have it in just a moment. The supply count actually better for SuperNova. He's about 20 supply ahead. Oh, having to move that command center back.
Yeah, too many tanks up in position. SuperNova using a lot of his resources on turrets here.
Yeah. Man, such a close game right now.
Byun just needs gas. He doesn't have enough gas. He's using a lot of his gas to repair these battle cruisers. And battle cruisers aren't going to be the unit that he wants in the end. He's going to need a better Viking count here. And SuperNova still has a ground force.
Yep.
So if he destroys all these battle cruisers, he can actually assert that advantage. And these Thors as well, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for Byun to push forward. Yamato's on these Thors, very smart. Does end up killing one of those Thors.
Nice snipes with those battle cruisers there. He's got 8 of them in that group. Viking count right now. What is the Viking count?
Right now the Viking count is 26 for SuperNova to 23 of Byun.
Yep.
Everyone having full upgrades. Battle cruisers going to attack turrets here. Really a bold move.
He's kind of wishing he had science vessels from single player right now so he can repair those.
Nice Yamato on the Thor.
Yep. Both players always still have to be mindful of Seeker Missile. Yeah. Such a devastating hit if it does connect. Neil's being dropped again.
Such a tricky move.
Yeah.
You know, if you make that Seeker Missile, it's a ton of energy, but if it lands, the game could just end.
Well, they're talking about bumping the speed. Nice EMP on those battle cruisers in the next patch, so that would make a difference as well.
Yeah, look at this, just doing so much damage with his superior Viking count.
Yep. And Byun slowly pushing back OTS SuperNova.
Yeah, he's just crushing through here.
Yes, he is.
I feel like Byun knows how to play this style better than SuperNova does.
It almost seems that way, doesn't it? I mean, he's made the switch to air. He's playing so much better right now. He did get that initial surprise, though. He got that initial drop on his opponent. That's always so important in these late-game situations.
SuperNova losing all of the tanks that he had.
Yeah.
Auto turret being taken out by battle cruisers. And now, finally, Byun has secured that base.
Only took him about 20 minutes.
I'd like for Byun to attack the top right base. I keep mentioning that it's very exposed. It does have about 8 to 10 missile turrets there, but he can deal with that if he just approaches it safely. He does have some Marines as well. Even sending just Marines over there to attack that base would be really smart. There are a few siege tanks there as well. It's just very difficult. Both of these guys are really struggling to multitask everything that's necessary. One mistake and the game will end.
Yeah. That's the thing about these really late game situations in any matchup. You can pull out these surprise tech switches because you've got all the production capability. Every little decision matters.
SuperNova decides to cancel all of those missile turrets. He's running a little bit low on money himself, doesn't want to waste those.
Yeah, Byun basically using his SCVs right now just to repair his units.
Yeah, Byun is actually doing a better job at keeping his units alive than SuperNova. That's why he's been able to catch up in Viking count several times despite having a deficit. He just keeps his alive.
Yeah.
These Marines are going to run in here. The tanks are unsieged.
Very nice decision to add on a group of Marines.
I really like that he's going to get this command center as well.
Yeah, there's not a lot that SuperNova has that can contend with this right now.
And the tanks do siege up on top of his ramp. The Viking count, 21 for Byun, 27 for SuperNova.
Oh,
he's been able to catch up.
Yep.
And right now, SuperNova has 5 Vikings, and Byun has lost all of his, or not 5 Ravens, so that point defension is really going to come into play. It's coming into play right now. Missile goes up. Oh my god!
Oh, he flew back towards it for a second.
And he's going to maybe take some hits here.
Oh! That does, Seeker Missile does, I believe it's 100 damage to everything in the radius there. That's a ton of damage.
Marines charging through these siege tanks, but tanks do barely fend it off.
Yep.
Both these players having great upgrades.
Yeah.
Byun has another round of Marines. I think he just wants to win the battle with the siege tanks and then crush through the air army before it can land and react.
The Marines can help out quite a bit against all those Vikings too. That's
what he wants. I think that's his plan here. He wants to kill the last few siege tanks, then crush the Vikings before they can land and react.
Yeah.
With 3-3 upgrades, you can crush through those Vikings very, very quickly.
Now, amazingly enough, the supply is still virtually even for these guys right now, 141 to 138. This game is actually insane.
This is actually insane. SuperNova retaining Viking count lead, 33 to 23. Both players having a nuke available to them, plus a ghost.
See, if this is like, if TBT is like vegetables that you don't want to eat, this is like when you have corn on the cob, and it's like got the nice melted butter all over. It's delicious, it's a vegetable, but you still love it.
Pretty good.
In my opinion, anyway.
Well,
here we go.
This battle could decide the game.
Motto, and whoa!
The battle cruiser does fall. Byun has a worse Viking count, but with those Marines on the watchtower, plus they're behind the line of sight blocker.
Now, importantly, too, Byun was able to focus on some of those Ravens before they could get close enough to Seeker Missile as well. You know, SuperNova actually has his own nuke right now, too.
Yeah, they both have a nuke and a ghost.
Yep.
And this actually could seal the deal here because he's no longer going to really be mining. Look at the resource count at the top right. Byun has money and SuperNova doesn't. Even if looking at the production tab, you can see that Byun is actually just able to produce so much more. He's actually switching back into Marauders at this point because he knows his opponent's not going to have enough money to produce units to deal with the Marauders. The Marauders will eventually break through the siege tanks.
That's
and Byun is just
right.
actually making all the right decisions here in the late game.
Yeah. Where was this Byun earlier, man? I mean, he's playing so well.
I wonder if this was his plan from the beginning. You know, I just really don't know. But he's going to crush through these siege tanks. And if you trade 2 tanks for about 8 Marines, that's okay in this situation because Marines are so much cheaper. He's got a better economy than his opponent.
SuperNova trying to take that base again.
One volley will crush the command center, burn it to the ground. So he has to be very careful. Ooh, Seeker Missile! Oh no!
Oh wow!
Man.
Byun is so good. He found the Marine that it was tracking, ran it away from the other Marines. Just playing so brilliantly right now.
SuperNova is just he is trying and trying and trying to reclaim that base.
Yeah.
It's a small base. There's not a lot of minerals there. And he's kind of on a clock right now because when that runs out, there's not a whole lot else for him to do.
Sands of time are ticking away for OGS SuperNova.
Byun is landing his Vikings here to save them. Running his Marines forward, he's going to go for a huge attack. Auto turrets going down to try to help out. EMP is going off, trying to hit some of these Ravens.
Vikings landing as well.
Why did Byun make this decision? I don't understand.
Why?
I don't understand this decision at all. He threw away his entire lead. He tried to attack siege tanks with clumped up Vikings.
Well, those auto turrets really saved the day there too as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he would.
I don't fully understand that decision. I know he wanted to break the tank line. He thought maybe he had enough units. I don't think he realizes maybe how ahead he was before that attack.
I think he just threw away his lead in a big way there. He's about 30
he absolutely
supply down
did.
now.
He's 30 supply down. He can no longer contest that base. That was basically the last mining base of SuperNova. He's got the top left. It's getting very low though.
Yep.
And as well as the 9 o'clock base.
34 Vikings to 21 now.
Yeah, he lost so many Vikings.
Oh, New Age Viking flower there for a second.
New Age Viking flower.
Yep.
It's the Viking flower of the future.
That's right. Landing his Vikings again.
Nuke
Oh, there's the
not
nuke.
land.
Well, that ghost didn't last very long. He's going to go for it.
I don't
Here he
understand
goes.
this choice. Again, he's trying to use these Vikings. They're very clumped up.
Well,
the tank's doing so much damage.
You know, they could also get Seeker missiled as well.
GG. He just couldn't.
What?
He couldn't contest that anymore. And you know, I have to say it was a good GG timing.
Yeah.
He made too many critical mistakes there. Top, nodding his head, goes 3-0. Top, or excuse me, not top. I don't know why I'm saying top. SuperNova is at the top right now in wins, and he has pretty much secured his position in Code S.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow. That was a game.
That was a
Man.
game.
That was crazy. Byun had the advantage at the end. I mean, just made some really questionable decisions by landing those Vikings.
Yeah.
So disappointing.
It's so hard to tell whether or not you have the Viking advantage. And he
is.
thought he didn't. And so he thought, well, my only chance, this is my only hope, is to break through here. He only had one mining base, but because of how many minerals were there, he was in a pretty good spot. But he thought, well, he's got the entire top left. I don't know how many minerals are left there. This is my one moment I have to break through here, and I don't know if I have more Vikings than my opponent, so I should fight my Vikings on the ground.
Well, he kind of underestimated the amount of siege tanks that SuperNova had as well. I mean, he thought he maybe had a little bit less than he did. The switch to battlecruisers in air was brilliant, though. I mean, that was so smart. That got him back into the game.
Yeah, going bio against mech is not something you want to do in the late game, and then he decided to go into something else. Now, SuperNova made a critical mistake with his Ravens early on. He spent like 8 Seeker missiles, then all of his Raven energy was gone, and they didn't hit anything. So then SuperNova was out of energy, and Byun was able to just slowly take over that location. And once he did, he won a lot of key battles, and from there was pretty ahead. He did some great micro control, and then suddenly landed all of his Vikings and threw the game away.
Well, let's talk about Seeker Missile again a little bit. Now, in the test realm right now, the proposed patch notes include a speed increase for Seeker Missiles. So some of the things, you know, we saw a lot of times the Seeker Missile just barely couldn't catch up, and that's something that after this patch hits, if the change stays, when it hits
that would have completely changed this game.
That would have made a big, big difference, yeah.
And
so,
I think when that happens, you'll see a lot less of this type of composition, just simply because it's so difficult to clump your Vikings. We're going to take a 5-minute break, guys. We've got a lot more games coming up for you, so stay tuned.
Been dreaming this since I was young, so baby girl, I'll be going